Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. There were 3 Kira-zuri dial Grand Seiko U.S. Limited Editions launched in 2018. The one you see right here, the spring drive Kira-zuri SBGA385, is the rarest of the trio. 20 pieces in platinum for the U.S. only, generally out of Grand Seiko boutiques. A very exclusive watch that uses the distinctive shiny painting style dial in silver. And it is in the legendary 44GS case made famous since the original of the late 1960s. Grand Seiko often trades on the quality of its watches rather than iconic individual designs, but this is an exception. Say 44GS to a Grand Seiko enthusiast and they will know immediately of which you speak. The watch is easy to wear too, though in platinum and very heavy as a result. This edition is 40 millimeters in diameter, 13.1 millimeters thick, and quite short at 46 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears beautifully, comfortably, relatively short across the wrist. Now, I'm pulling the strap tight, but I could recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, and you can see how it sits. Not thick, but it's got a bit of a sheer side, so you should be fine with just about all dress sleeves. Maybe not the tightest or French cuffs, but everything else should be all right. Here's your down the barrel shot, so you can see the lugs in relation to the edge of my wrist, and then you're over the top. And keep in mind, I am pulling the strap rather tight. This exaggerates the width of the watch with respect to the edge of my wrist. Grand Seiko straps are always amazing to me. You can see that this one right here is brand new. No crimping, no gouging. And yet this alligator leather feels incredibly smooth, buttery, as though it's been broken in over ages, and yet it is fresh from the factory. A Grand Seiko factory strap. It's got calf lining on the top, dark blue gloss, large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top, which is a high quality cut of the animal, but almost always comes super stiff. Not here. A folded edge, a monotone stitch, a little bit of bolstering or stuffing to give it volume. Made in Japan, like almost every other part of this watch. Take a look at the clasp. This is something that's distinctive of Grand Seiko platinum clasps. Now, a lot of brands, particularly the Swiss ones, will give you a white gold clasp with a platinum watch, particularly when there are small mechanical components that are functional and load-bearing. The Swiss will use white gold, which looks like platinum, but is mechanically a lot stronger. Well, at Grand Seiko, they have a better idea. Not every platinum needs to be PT950, so this clasp is made out of a combination of PT950 for the buckle and then the mechanically tougher PT900, which is 90% platinum, for the swing arm itself. As a result, you get a clasp that is entirely platinum, which is befitting of a watch of this stature. It does have twin trigger release, so it's not friction fit and it's not susceptible to flying open inadvertently. This is the famed Zaratsu case finish, mirror finished by holding it using hand-eye coordination manually against a spinning tin plate on Zalitz machines. This mirror finish is something that takes about 3 years to perfect, to learn, to mastery, and it is practiced at Grand Seiko. It is an incredibly smooth, mirrored surface comparable to what the Swiss call black polish, only instead of being on a few screws or tiny interior parts, it's the entire case. You could see the unique compound faceting of the 44GS, even how it dips from lug side to lug side to express the bezel more completely. It's a very complex form, and Grand Seiko is one of the few brands that expect people will continue to use strap tools to swap straps on 5-figure platinum watches, but there they are, right there, with a 19 millimeter spacing. And if you look, you can see that there's even a little bit of a flatting to the case so that the strap will have a complete uninhibited range of motion, but you can see that little flatting to the flank of the case adjacent to the strap inboard of the lugs. And then I want to make sure you know we haven't refinished this or tried to polish it ourselves. This is factory, so it does include a few marks of having been worn previously. We consider it more important to preserve the original factory finish, which is incredibly exquisite. We have a Grand Seiko logo and polish and media blast on the crown, and then we've got You can see the little peak of those lugs alongside the bezel. The Kira-zuri dial, Kira-zuri or shiny painting, a distinctive Japanese art form. And so this dial and the other two in the trio were designed as a homage to that artist, or I should say that artist's style. Now, Kira-zuri, of course, practiced in Japan, Grand Seiko often drawing on Japanese art for the imagery of its dials, but from an arm's length, it's just a beautiful conventional silver white. When you get closer, you can see the fine detailing, but also how well constructed and decorated the dial furniture is. Taking a look at the faceting of these diamond cut components. Look at the razor's edge between the beveled flanks of these hands at center and the mirror polished top. The same lavished on all the indices as well as the logo and the frame for the date. All of this stuff crafted by people who do this as their full-time gig, micro-mechanical artisans who micro-finish these components. A genuine fired blue steel seconds hand glides along in spring drive fashion. Not only are these parts all finished by hand, they're placed and caulked by hand. So I've often said that Rolex and Grand Seiko in the mainstream luxury category have the best dial quality. Rolex does it by relentless technological refinement and scientific perfection. Grand Seiko does it by extraordinary handcrafted skill. They get to the same place qualitatively, but I prefer the way Grand Seiko does things. Now, spring drive is a distinctive technology that was researched between 1977 and its debut as a manual wind variant in 1999. Automatic winding spring drive came out in 2005. So just think about how long it took one of the world's most technically adept watch and technology brands at Seiko Epson to create this system of spring drive from 1977 to 2005 to bring automatic spring drive to market. And so what you're looking at is a true sweeping seconds hand. It doesn't start, stop, tick, or tock. It just smoothly glides, driven mechanically by the spring, not by batteries, not by capacitors, not by motors. Taking a look at the power reserve indicator, 72 hours of automatic winding power reserve, that's 3 days. We do have a stop seconds function, so you can stop that beautifully gliding seconds hand, and it sets very convincingly. There's almost no wobble to the crown and extremely little dead angle between moving the crown and seeing the motion of the second, or I should say the minute hand right there. Now there's also a quick set, so you can rapidly set the date disc. The watch is 100 meters water resistant, so while it does not have a screw down crown, put it on a different strap, it is swimmable. Flip everything to the reverse and you could see the movement. Now this is the 9R15, which is a hot rodded version of standard spring drive. It's more accurate. So if standard spring drive is accurate to 15 seconds a month, this is accurate to 10. And aside from knowing the reference, the movement, that little Grand Seiko vintage lion logo, the gold medallion on the rotor, lets you know this is the hot rod version of the 30-jewel automatic 3-day 9R series. And it is watchmaker built, watchmaker regulated, and when the time comes, watchmaker serviced. So this is a lifetime movement. It's not disposable consumer electronics. Don't make that mistake. Although it is a quartz regulated movement, it is something designed to go the distance, not just your lifetime, but the lifetime of the watch, which may span several generations. The barrel drives a gear train that turns this governing wheel. The governing wheel creates an induced electromagnetic field supplying electric current to the quartz oscillator. By inducing that electrical current, the quartz oscillator wakes up and begins to regulate the watch, applying an electromagnetic or back EMF braking force on the governing wheel to slow it down, so it, which is directly geared on one side to the mainspring and on the other side to the hands, that governing wheel will only allow time to unfurl at the speed the quartz oscillator permits. But again, no batteries, no motive power capacitors, and no motors. It is truly spring drive. It is mechanical soul with quartz precision. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.